I just want you to know that even though I am going to start trying to teach you potatoes how to not be potatoes, I can only do that because I have been a potato so many times. Oh, there you go. I killed myself accidentally with the flames, or I jumped out in front of a car, or I was looking with my headphones on the wrong direction and the car sounded like it was in front of me and it was behind me. G'day guys, so I'm going to be doing some PUBG Mobile coaching, just breaking down simple engagements and highlighting some of the micro functionality that exists within the game and some of the things you can do just to improve the tiny edges around your already, monstrous skill set. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to be concentrating a lot on sniping in this one. I love sniping, as you probably know. And anyway, remember to like, subscribe, and etc. Bye for now. Right. I want to take you through some things that a lot of people don't see about sniping particularly, and you can apply these to a general gameplay and it's going to make you better at what you do. There is a real, sometimes sniping is just easy, okay? This is one of those engagements where you don't really have to think about anything. You've got a really good scope. The other guy doesn't have a really good scope. You're waiting at a window and you're kind of just guessing when people are going to run past. You put the scope at about head height, pull the trigger, someone walks into it, look like a champion. But there are other things in sniping which are really, really important. And one of the main things is how you take an engagement. You can see there is going to be a guy poking right up on top of this ridge. And the thing I really want to highlight here is that for him, when he's looking at me, all he can really see is the top of my head here on these boxes. But when I'm looking at him, he's silhouetted against a ridgeline, okay? And for me, I am overlooking something which I can duck down behind, or I can pull into this wall here and peek out. So it gives me multiple options. For him, all I've got to do is shoot the top of that ridge and it's an easy clear. The reason I mention this is because you'll see in this next clip, everyone's going to get wrecked. There's a whole bunch of guys up on these ridge lines along here overlooking mill base. And for a lot of people, the real call here for this snipe would be they would poke the sides. Now, this is the same thing. Your ridge line is the top of this car, and you can actually use the car and just move backwards from the target to set your engagement. And you're going to see how I do this, where you actually line up. Do you see that? I'm lining up where this guy is before I pull back from the car. I'm looking at that tree up there. I see that the tree's got a bump in it. That's cool. Get the crosshair up towards there and then zoom in coming from the back of the car. Now, he's using the tree here and he's poking the side. And it's actually because he's covering both the guy on the crate and me, or this area here, he is actually exposing a lot of his body. Whereas all I'm doing is poking above this car. And I can move anywhere along the line of this car. And there's two of them there now. I can move anywhere along the line of this car and just snapshot very, very quickly. Look how quickly we're able to output fire here. I'll show you again. We hardly even have to look. And we're just working that ridge line. Now, the key here is that we are taking shots using that cover. And we're not poking the sides. That gives us the whole length of this, for lack of a better word, sniper fight. Now this is next level stuff. You'll see there's smoke here. This is actually in a tournament. I think Fake Jacob was running around over here somewhere, and the winning team ended up crawling around in that field. This is in a tournament, and there is a team at the other end of this. So I've thrown a smoke into the middle, and then I'm going to use that much like I use the car and get the shots off by going above it and then pulling down underneath it. And then my teammate says, nice. Again, this next engagement, I'm got a 3x on an M762. This is not ideal, especially not at that kind of range. You'll see how I'm creating the cover and then pulling down, and then create the cover and pull down and create the cover. Even though it's difficult, it means that he doesn't get clear shots all the time. And this is something not a lot of people do. When you snipe, you have to be ducking behind cover after every shot. And even if it takes a while, you're making it so much harder for someone to get in on your target. Now, it's hard to hit like this, but it makes you much harder to hit. And when you're running a Kar 98, that's important. Like, for instance, watch this. This is the same concept. There's a guy over there behind me, all the way in, down, up, and I actually go down to set the engagement and then up.
Watch out.
Now, every single time I fire here, I duck. Why is that? Two reasons. One is he's not knocked and his return fire could quite easily hit me. So as I fire, I duck. Let's have a look at that again. And also, if someone is on like my flank over here or my flank over here and I'm not watching, and this happened to me today on stream, where I stood on top of a ridgeline and aimed down at someone, and someone on my left like smashed me, and then my vest was so damaged that the next shot from the guy that I was fighting cleared my vest and I went down almost instantly. And that's bad play. You've got to get in the habit of being able to quick snap, but also as you fall down, you duck every single time. This is like must do. You'll see even on this shot, again, I'm going to work a ridgeline, this ridgeline along here, and I'm going to approach it low and then stand up when I'm going to hit my target. See? Duck, up, duck, up, duck. There's my target. Now, sniping is also pointless. If you're not going to use that snipe in open field to rotate in, and this is basically what we're doing, we're trying to rotate, and me and McLoopy Doodads managed to clear these guys. We push the knock, roll in, do the business. I think we actually ended up winning this game. And that's got to be something that you're used to doing. I should have gone to FPP there if I'm being honest. Anyway, now let's talk about isolating targets. And this is an interesting one. This is one not a lot of people do. This just looks like a normal engagement. I'll run it for you and you can have a look. But the real thing that I want to outline here is that I am making it very difficult for anyone else to target me, even as I push forward every time. Do you see what I'm doing? Okay, I'll explain it in clearer terms. Let's have a look at this. So you're basically creating windows. So the window that we're going to be fighting through is there, okay? And it's going to be exceptionally hard for anyone up here to hit me from this particular position. And I'm not really using it like to go all the way up into the lifeguard tower and sit there and pop up. No, what I'm doing is using all this broken cover here, like these lines, these vertical lines and these areas here, to give me a really safe space there. And then I know that there's no one down in here that can hit me because I'm actually going to be covered by the area in front of me, this part of the map. And these guys are up on the ridgeline sniping, so they're right there. So I am controlling where I can take incoming fire from. And when you can control where you can take incoming fire from, you can kind of hard peek that area and not worry about anything else. And you do this all the time. I'll show you an even better example of it in a sec. And you'll see how I'm always manipulating this left-hand side. Look how I'm looking on the left, not straight ahead as we prepare again. And I know he's tapping an M16, so I'm happy just to... This is a great example of it. And this is what I should have done today on that stream I was talking about. There's a guy down here in this compound. In fact, there's a squad down there. I also know that there's people up here on my left. So he's on the roof. Now I could go up here and shoot down, but that would mean that anyone on my left-hand side this would be a really dangerous place to be. Plus, I know that if I go along this ridgeline here and just kind of peek this section of it, then I'm going to force him to basically come to the space on the roof where he can see me. So I really control the engagement. Watch how I lean right and I get down into this berm, and it forces him to come all the way around It wasn't actually a squad. That was a solos game. It forces him to come all the way around. And that means that I don't have to take, it's not dangerous for me. And this is something I do all the time. And you do it naturally as you get better. And it's one of the reasons why I probably get knocked a lot less sniping than some people. Sometimes I get less damage than some of my teammates, but I also get knocked less. It's because you cut the angles off. So even if you're in a squad fight, you can find places like this and it will allow you to engage one member of a squad. When there's 4 people on a ridgeline shooting, you can find a way to engage just one member of that squad. And that's a really good thing. Could we also just have a look here at how crappy hill glitching is? Look at this. See in front of me? See, look at this. All this ridgeline, right? Look where it is. Clear as a bell. Watch as we go in. Watch the ridge disappear. What? Now I'm accounting for that, but we lose basically the whole roof line appears. It's very, very dodgy. I mean, it's not very cool. It's got worse over time. It used to be that the hill glitch would only be on the other side, but now you're actually seeing it on your side.
Driving across like a couple of rodeo cats.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. I'm talking in this one.
That's him as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this is a great example of a little bit of knowledge coupled with, okay, this guy is in the window. There is a guy in the window there. It is so hard to snipe out of those windows because you basically, how do I explain this? Your gun, right, is this line here, and your scope is the little scope on top of it. Let's not do that. It doesn't look cool. Your gun is this line here, and your scope is this little scope on top of it. Okay, and what you actually have here is 2 different lines that zero in at a point out here on the left. So if you're shooting through a window, your scope is actually seeing something that the point of your gun can't hit. So you'll fire and it will hit the board on the window, even though you can absolutely 100% see the target through your scope. So I know this guy is going to be next to useless here. I also know that he is going to probably poke this wall here. The smart play would have been to have opened this door and peeked either side of the door, or even go to the window behind the door and use that. But it's a lot to do. You can see,
left, but I mean, they're gonna have to come. Oh, okay, there he is.
you can hear me saying he might pop the left because I know exactly
really
where he's going to come.
Sit down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was like, that is such an obvious play, and it's such a bad play, and especially for people who are running bolties, aren't running
Are you
bolties.
really going to test me? Sit down. You are kidding
I
yourself,
knew
Sasha.
exactly where he was coming
Is he gonna
from,
peek this?
and it made it very, very easy to hit him. Sniper rifles are kind of the thing where I will hard peek a sniper rifle sometimes, because unless they hit a headshot, and I know the guy over here doesn't have an AWM, and I know I have a level 3 helmet, and it's late game, you can see there's only 6 people alive, and 2 of them are me and Mr. Ouija, and this guy is holding us out of the circle. You can see we're 23 meters outside the circle here, so I'm actually going to let, and we're just going to start taking his wheels out, and
He's dead.
all we need is the very top of his helmet there, which is actually very, very good to showcase that, because if you're not afraid of doing that with a level 3 helmet, then you can,
that's
and that guy, I think that guy actually got banned after this game. So anyway, keep moving along. Yeah, and I'm going to show you another one here. This is something that drives me nuts. People will get to trees, and then they will crouch down behind a tree, and instead of, you see this dude here? This dude right here. This is a huge mistake. And this is a mistake that so many players make. They will basically go up to a tree and crouch down next to it and have a look. And that is not how you do it. And this is his partner, I think, over here, or one of the members of this squad. Yeah, you don't do that. You go stand up next to the tree and you will take third party or you will slightly lean out and do it. Like that is just showing your full body, and crouched means you can't move quickly. This is another one that I do all the time, and I get a lot of headshots out of cars. I play with people who are like, how do you get so many headshots out of cars? It's a big part of it. Basically, you just have to know where to aim on the car. I'm expecting there to be someone in that car. So I actually just shoot where they'd be. Now, if you look closely, I don't know if you can even see this. I'll try and draw the outline of the back of a buggy. There is a seat like that covers a lot of the head. You can hit the very, very top of the head, or you can hit it from an angle, but you can easily hit the body aiming anywhere around that seat. And you're going to see that happens there once, and then again, straight into the body, even though I'm behind the car. Another example of watch as I shoot this, you have to start doing this. If it's a ridge line, you duck or lay down. If it's a window, you snap back and move, because you're never sure where you're going to get hit from another shot from. And this has saved my life so many times. Just doing that. That is like, you've got to do this. Like watch, it's a snap and then it's a duck and pull away. Here we go. That has to be like your movement, right? Snap, duck, pull away. Now I'm going to show you something. This is why you love the AWM, right? You can be such a bully with the AWM. And the joy of the AWM is we ended up winning, but we just kept knocking the same guys in the same squad again and again and again. It puts out such huge amounts of damage. If you've got a level 3 helmet and an AWM, you're very comfortable exchanging hits. So, or you can have a mate. If you've got an AWM, and you'll watch this again, right? We're both firing at the same time. That's not an accident. The problem there is Ouija hit the other guy. There's actually 4 people up there. That's R for speed, RA speed or Rust speed. I don't know. We just keep knocking him, but we'll fire at the same time because we're actually, you'll see we do it again and again. That was just a body shot from 2 different rifles. We will try and fire our bolties at the same time because an AWM does such catastrophic amounts of damage. There we are again. We're happy to take a headshot there. Headshot from an AWM versus a headshot from a Kar 98. And I'll tell you who's going to come out on top. The AWM will do such catastrophic amounts of damage that all you've got to do is, oh, and this is such a crime. Watch this. He does it again. Okay, you're playing against a guy with an AWM and he's knocked you twice already, and you fire at him and then you re-peek the same side. And this is late game. There's 5 people left alive. It's us versus those last 3 dudes. And look how small the circle is. It's me and Ouija versus 3 guys. And he is going to peek the same spot versus an AWM. And I mean, you've got to have a certain amount of respect for your opponent when they keep knocking you. If they're hitting you, and again, this is the thing. I am happy to take on. That's 2 headshots I've taken. And I've knocked both of the targets because I've basically made a trade. I've got a level 3 helmet. I've got an AWM, 2 rounds, 2 knocks. And those knocks are bleeding them through, both in terms of armor, meds, and if they get knocked again, they're in real trouble. So we get to the final circle and we're going to push in. We're going to take a very strong position. They're across from us to the south. And there's a guy down behind. Now, Ouija went for the knock on the bloke who was coming across. And you'll see there's a guy right down here who is going to then lean out and get Azza. Now, we get the return knock. So it's now 1 knock up, 1 knock down. Now, they're pushing. This is crazy. Crazy, bro. And again, this is just not recognizing the kill feed. It's a Mark 14. I've just knocked a guy with a full auto Mark 14. I'm on top of a building, and your first thought is not to get to your teammate and get him revived. It's to push the knock and get the thirst. Yeah, wonder what happens next. Thank you very much. And then I am going to make sure, because Mr. Ouija's safe, that we are now 2v1. Excellent. And then as it comes around the back, and RA Speed is the last bloke left, we're going to get the revive, and then we're going to get the win. Now, I call as a forward for the revive. I want to make sure that he is actually not going to come up those stairs on the side, but he doesn't. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please subscribe. There is a huge recoil analysis video coming. It's simply been delayed by spreadsheets, and I want to make sure we get it 100% right. It is going to be the most up-to-date, in-depth recoil analysis of the ARs that you have ever seen, and it will absolutely cause you to change some of your habits and some of the things you do, both with regard to your setup and the weapon you run. I'm Bushka. Thank you so much for watching. Look after yourselves. Stay safe on the battlefield. And until next time, bye for now.